There we go.
Okay, legislators closed. All the kids, they're all gone for. How come they don't play the song? All the school books.
School's out for the summer.
For summer, you got to.
Well, because that's not till next Friday.
Is the next Friday the last one?
I think the next Friday is the last session. Then there's economic policy and committees and stuff like that. But the legislative session is done, I think, next Friday.
Okay, so we're going to talk about an issue that you are going to educate me.
Sure.
You don't know much about clear cutting, but anyway.
Don't know much about anything.
Yeah, exactly, especially the clear cutting. But anyway, we're going to talk about fishing.
Yeah.
Now, 2 weeks ago or last week, I sent you a video I saw on YouTube, and it was, what was it? It looks like...
It just looked like the water was boiling, right?
Yeah, and they said it was bass, but it wasn't bass.
It was striped bass.
Oh, it was
striped bass, and there's a lot of striped bass in the Miramichi River system, and then when the water hits 60 degrees Celsius, or Fahrenheit, when it hits 60 degrees, they move into spawning mode. They move into the shallow water, into the flats, and then that's the spawning, that's the mating of the striped bass. And it's pretty aggressive, and it lasts for a short period of time. It'll be all done next week. And then
next week? I mean, it's still going?
I think there is still activity up there.
Okay, so I went over the Doketown and that area, and they were telling me there was a couple that were picking up fiddleheads. Do you like fiddleheads?
I ate so many of them growing up that I can take them or leave them there now.
Anyway, so they were saying that the salmon will be jumping.
Salmon will jump.
In 2 weeks. That was. So it's sort of this time the salmon will be jumping.
It's time of day, it's water temperature. There's a bunch of different factors that go into it, but it's amazing when the conditions are right. Then there's nothing stopping them. They just go right into the spawn.
Okay, so if there's so much bass, everybody's so how can the salmon go across the river, down the river, if it's all full of bass?
Well, there's a lot of space in that Miramichi River, and certainly
that's why I wanted a map.
I know I didn't deliver for you. I was too busy here working all day. I'll have to get back to you. But there is salmon, there is bass in that river system, and there is competition. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why I want to work with the federal government, because DFO, the feds, they manage all of that river system right now. I have very little input in it. I want to have more input in it because there's some things that we can be doing. There's some things that I'm doing right now because the spawning areas are up into tributaries, and I mean, it's not in the main great big Miramichi, that deep stretch.
That was by Red Bank.
Red Bank is where the spawning. Shallower areas off into tributaries, and so that's the areas where we got a lot of area. The Atlantic Salmon Federation they've recognized that we're doing a good job targeting cold water pools and Miramichi tributaries to protect. By that I mean extended buffer zones and
buffer zone. That's clear cutting.
Yeah.
So you don't know much about clear cutting.
No,
Focus, Mike. Focus on the fish.
Yep.
Don't get me going on the clear cutting. Focus also. What are you playing? Is it getting rough? We're gonna go in the corner.
I'd never go with you. I'd never make it. I'd never make it.
I know what that's right. The smoker. Okay, focus. Why don't they get together where they're spawning the bass and electrocute all them a big net and destroy them, and then the bass destroy the salmon?
Well, because I mean, we work hard to try to create ecological balance there, and I've said this to the salmon groups. I'll do work, whatever we can, to try to help enhance and build and protect them, but I'm not going to extinct a species. I'm certainly not a fan or would endorse eliminating the striped bass. No, they're an animal, a fish that lives in that ecosystem. My father remembers 60 years ago fishing them in the Miramichi River system. But the key is that you manage them and that you find a balance so that
So how come the bass is it's known as the enemy of the salmon?
Well,
educate me.
At the end of the day, salmon have a number of enemies. Here's some of the enemies that salmon has.
Overfishing,
poaching, offshore trawlers, seals are a massive predator to them, and there is a travesty going on offshore with the trawlers. Like, for example, they'll be fishing herring, but the nets don't know the difference, right?
Have you been in New York?
Yeah.
the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
It's pretty tall.
Yep.
And a net of a trawler
Is bigger.
is
than
about,
it could.
is about 100 times
Did you
bigger
watch that,
than it drags right on.
yeah,
I seen
did
that
you watch
on
that
the
on Netflix?
National Geographic magazine in the old days. That was 30 years ago.
No, but it's true, and apparently under the water, where these draggers happen, there's more damage being done than in the rainforest.
Yeah, but that's a capitalist system, right? Money, 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 money.
It is, and
That's
so,
why we got so much clear cutting, which you don't
But-
understand.
but now we gotta-
it's money.
well, let's
Charlie,
focus and go back to the river. But okay, so you got offshore predators.
Yeah.
You've got erosion and silting, which is what we're trying to work on with building those buffers and protecting that cold water, because we got to create spawning areas where the eggs have a chance to take hold and live, and more of those will survive. Because if more go out, even if there's challenges out there, we stand to reason that more will come back in, and we have to work on a combination of factors. Going out and killing every striped bass does not save the salmon at all.
Salmon is bass salmon good to
Oh, striped bass is tremendous to eat.
Is it?
In fact, I prefer it over salmon.
eat? Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to
Okay.
send you some pictures on.
And they're good fishing. They're
It's fun fishing. Like for example, I mean, I salmon fish and love it. Grew up salmon fishing, but you could spend all day fishing salmon. Maybe get one, maybe not. Maybe you spend 2 days, never get one, and that's still fun. But you go out fishing. I went fishing striped bass 3 weeks ago, and I caught 44.
Okay.
So it's fun. They fight. It's a good fish. It's a good sport. And at that 44, you know, I kept a couple of them, and it's tremendous.
So in the future, there won't be Miramichi for salmon. It'll be Miramichi for bass.
Well, I mean, I think that I haven't
For
lost
tourists,
hope.
for
I haven't
tourists.
lost hope, and I've put a lot of work in the conservation efforts of the river system of Miramichi to create the climate that we won't have that much silting, that we will have spawning beds that stay cool, and that, the cold water pools, because salmon can't handle the water once it gets too hot. So a couple of degrees makes all the difference in the world. So we're doing some conservation efforts to try to assist that. We do have First Nations fishery quotas on striped bass. We've got an open season where you can actually catch and keep them for us as anglers, and I mean we're going to be watching it to see. I believe that management is important. That's another reason why I'm working with the feds now, so that we can get a document that lets us as DNR have a say in what goes on in those rivers.
So will salmon be extinct in 10 years from now?
I hope not, and I don't think so, because you have to understand that we've also got a number of river systems. The Miramichi River system has challenges. We've got the Visigood River system, the Restigouche River system. They get challenges, but overall, when we look at the returns and whatnot, there are some bright spots there, and I do believe that that's a fish that built the Miramichi to a large degree, and I have hope that it'll be there in the future.
Now bass is in the St. John River.
It's
also.
in the St. John River, yeah.
So
The striped bass and smallmouth bass.
and do they have bass in Quebec also?
Yeah. Oh, there are spots in the Quebec River system. I couldn't target and pinpoint it like I can in the St. John River system or our lakes and rivers around here. But Quebec has the muskie came from Quebec in our river
La
system.
Gaspésie.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you been to La Gaspésie?
Yes, I have.
Have
Yeah.
you been to La Roche-Posay?
Yes. Oh,
And the island?
I love it.
And the bird diving?
gannets, yeah.
And
Allison and I went. We spent a weekend there.
Wasn't nice?
I parked my truck on a Saturday. I never got back behind the wheel until Tuesday. We spent the whole. I love that area.
I was wondering how come La Roche-Posay they don't light it at night, but they don't because they have to let it neutral, and if they don't, there's so much bird shit on top of
There's
it.
a ton.
It's
yeah.
been there for 100
Well, it
years,
was funny
200 years.
because we got on the boat and we went over there, and you hike up around the island, and then you can tell where the birds are long before you get there because you can hear them and you can smell them.
They're more squawker than me and you both.
Yeah, they are. They would drown us out.
Oh, big time. I mean, it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, so I love it.
And it's the hidden treasure. See, we're not focusing, but it's the hidden treasure. There's seals, there's everything there.
Oh yeah.
And the American go to Cabot Trail.
Yeah.
And nobody from Ontario, no American is in La Gaspésie. There's none.
No.
They're all from Quebec, and they all visit inside. And if people knew how beautiful this thing is, I saw it 3 years ago, and it was beautiful. Beautiful.
You can't wait. I can't wait till we're getting them down to our fully completed Fundy Trail network. down in Albert County where
all
I'm
the clear cutting is.
Oh, listen, I'll tell you what, we've got, I do have maps of that.
You do have maps.
I do have maps of that, of every clear cut and
Okay,
all the crown.
let's focus.
Yeah.
Okay, so what
Fundy
kind,
Trail, it's going to rival the Cabot
what
Trail.
kind of water? That's impossible.
Oh, no.
Huh?
Mark my words, that's a drive we'll take you on. You don't have enough battery in your camera to see all the beauty down there.
I went. Yeah, I'll take you on. But can you go right across to Milton? No, to
It just say you can come out to St. Martin's, you can come out through Sussex.
yeah,
way,
Sussex, and then
Yeah,
you can. But they're supposed in the future it's going to be connected right.
It's going to come right out to Shepherdie.
Shepherdie, yeah.
Yep, that's going to be completed this year.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, you have a forward drive. We'll go take a ride.
Absolutely,
No
man.
problem. Okay, I will definitely bug you on that one. Okay, what other fish is there in Miramichi?
Oh, the Miramichi River. Well, I mean, there's salmon, there's trout.
Is there trout there?
Oh yeah, there's trout there. Yeah, unfortunately, in some areas we got smallmouth bass.
Does bass go after trouts?
Yep.
Well,
Oh yeah. I mean, but
they're vicious. They're worse than
but
the bald eagle.
understand a smallmouth bass would eat a small salmon. A large salmon would eat a smallmouth bass. See, fish.
Survival.
Here's the way fish work. I'll tell you what, fish are such vicious predators. If they walked on the earth, we'd be scared to death. Because here's the way it works.
I guess they did. I guess
At some
that's
point,
where
yeah.
they came
Well,
from.
maybe they will
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But the small fish is eaten by the big fish, and I don't care what kind of fish. Fish eat smaller fish, so that's just the way it works. So, I mean, the St. John River system's alive. There's so many different species down there. I mean, we got an opportunity here. I mean, on the Miramichi River 2-3 weeks ago, there was like 200 boats. Millions of dollars being spent.
Tourism, yeah.
Right? So there's an opportunity there too. We should use it. We should capitalize
So
on
the
it.
bass is, we're not going to try to extinct the bass.
I'm not going to try to extinct them. We're going to control them. We're going to make sure that, and we're going to do everything we can. And we're working with the Miramichi Salmon Association and the Atlantic Salmon Federation and the New Brunswick Wildlife Federation. We're working with all those partners to do everything we can. At the end of the day, I will say that I think that there's more attention being paid to them now than there has been for a long time.
Thanks to educate me.
No problem, my man.